All right, welcome to episode 150 of the 2 Minute Warning. Our basketball specialist Greg is back from wherever he's been. Today we're back on the topic of NBA. Westbrook is going to Washington, John Wall to Houston. Greg, what does that mean for both these teams?
For the Wizards, I think it gives them life. The Wizards are a team right now that's been pretty relevant for some time. They're kind of looking for anything that'll spark some excitement in DC. And I really think that Westbrook can bring that for them. Westbrook is obviously going to go 100% every night, and I think that him and Bradley Beal could actually be a good combo and could be a playoff threat in the East. I really like this deal for Houston, though, because I feel like John Wall is going to come back strong off his Achilles injury, and I think that he's been working more on being a dynamic point guard that is not always just looking to attack on go mode like Westbrook, but I think he can also be able to distribute and create for Harden, which is something that I don't think Westbrook was really able to do, which is why they didn't work out in Houston. And you look at their other pieces, they still got Eric Gordon, they still got PJ Tucker, they just picked up Christian Wood in the offseason, who's a really good player from the Pistons, young guy, and they have Boogie. So I think if all of those pieces can click, I really think it's going to be good for Houston, and I think it might actually make James Harden, more likely to stay in Houston. So, Wade, what you got?
I agree. I think that Houston won this trade, in my opinion. I think that, as you mentioned, they need to make a good push this year to get Harden to stay. I'm sure they spent a lot of money on him, and they're going to want him to keep coming. He could become a franchise player for them. And I think that if they make a deep push this year, he'll want to stay. And you mentioned John Wall being more of a distributor. I like that. I think that once he comes off the Achilles, he's not going to be attacking as much. He might be a little timid at first, so he's going to be more of a pass-first kind of guy. And him reuniting with Boogie, after they played in Kentucky, I'm sure they have a good relationship, good dynamic there, so that might prove to be pretty valuable in this team. And they got a first-round pick out of it. It's not a complete loss for the Wizards. I think that Westbrook will definitely bring something to him. I mean, I think he averaged a triple-double, right?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did for 2 straight seasons.
Yeah,
so.
He's not a bad player at all, but he just didn't fit well with Harden. They both were very ball dominant, so I think John Wall will be a better fit for him.
Definitely.
Yeah, you guys make a good point. I think James Harden said something about recently playing with John Wall, whatever, working out together.
Yeah, they've been running.
So, I mean, they work well together. But I personally think that Houston took a pretty big risk picking up Wall. I mean, he hasn't played since 2018. Achilles injury and ankle injury. He's obviously injury prone. So that's an issue for me there for Houston. And I think Washington made a great move, bringing Westbrook, some new chemistry into Washington to hopefully keep Beal around, who's going to be a free agent coming next season. So I think that's big for them. But again, I think ultimately Houston did win the trade.
Yeah, one thing, I understand what you're saying about, Wall coming back off an Achilles injury, which is really hard to do, especially when you're approaching the age of 30. But what I've been hearing is that John Wall his recovery has been going great. He's been training a ton. Whoever he's been training with is getting him right in the off season. So I actually think that he's going to bounce back better than what most expect.
Yeah.
So I think that it's just going to be a better fit with Harden because John Wall he has that motor that Westbrook has, which I'm sure is what James Harden initially was looking forward to when he signed him. I think that John Wall's a better shooter than Westbrook. Mm-hmm. John Wall's a better playmaker than Westbrook as far as being able to pass and play.
I don't think Wall's and Harden's play style will kind of clash as much as.
Oh no, not at all.
Harden
Yeah,
did at all.
Harden.
I think they'll work better together.
Harden and Westbrook were just butting heads constantly. Which I mean, they're boys. They're not they don't hate each other, but they obviously realize that this isn't going to work. But I still think the Rockets are a top team in the West, to be honest. I mean, the West is obviously loaded.
Yeah.
I still think that
with that boy in Denver, with Jamal.
With that boy Jamal, yeah.
West is loaded.
John Wall's not going to be wearing those blue jerseys in Houston. I'm telling you right now. Yeah. But it'll be it's going to be interesting to see how both those tandems work, Westbrook with Beal and then Wall with Harden. I think it'll be better, though, in Houston, that tandem, but I still think...
Do you think they can make a push into the finals, even with all the people that West has, all the good teams that they have?
Will they make the finals? No, they won't make the finals. There's still the Lakers are literally better than they were last year. They're still your boy Jamal.
Yeah.
And they're still the Nuggets.
Still the Nuggets.
The Clippers. You know what I mean? So there's still like, I mean, the West just
Yeah.
absolutely loaded.
So
it's gonna be tough.
same question then for the Wizards. What do you think that makes them playoff wise?
I think it makes them a playoff team. They might, you know, I think they could make the playoffs. They could be a hard bout, like a hard out, I would say. Like,
Yeah.
But it all comes down to how Westbrook and Beal mesh together. I mean, Beal is not as ball dominant as a guard. He's the kind of guy that it's like Paul George. Like he makes one move and goes. He's not like Harden, because Harden, you know, he'll sit there, drain like 20 seconds off the shot clock, dribble like 30,000 times, and then create.
And then shoot.
Beal's the kind of guy that can get the ball, 1, 2, 3, dribble, go, attack, create a shot, and Westbrook is still going to be able to like attack, you know. And I think that with that, it'll mesh better because Harden and Westbrook were kind of doing the same like thing, like ball dominant, super. And you know, you got to think the Wizards still have Roy Hachimura, who was a really solid rookie last year. They just drafted the Israeli kid who's the Israeli boy.
Yeah.
But he might be a stud. And then they still have Davis Bertans, who's an absolute sniper. So, and then they got assy Thomas Bryant. But no, I think they could definitely make a playoff push. Definitely make a playoff push. But they're not gonna like make like significant noise. I don't think Westbrook is that good. We're gonna take them like over the hump. The Rockets will, I think, have more success in the end.
Agreed. All right. Well, John Wall to Houston, Westbrook to Washington. Thanks for watching, guys.
2 minutes.